Of the swatches of the very last row, which is also one of my favorites because it includes this amazing canary yellow almost and these purple shades, which are just, I'm living for this. So these are the swatches of the very last row. So we have this fuchsia pink, we have this deep purple, which I've been using a lot. The Morphe palettes, like literally I nearly hit pan on them quite easily because I use a lot of shimmer shades in my looks and my tutorials and stuff. This one here is a bit disappointing as it is again patchy because it's a more matte shade. And this one here really steals the show for me. This is one of my favorite colours. This reminds me of my Juvia's Place palette, except the gold is kind of more a green tone, but this is more yellow toned. I love this gold. It's so pigmented. These are only €27. I know they seem a bit pricey for a brand that's not high end, but also not drugstore. It's kind of in the middle, but honestly it's definitely worth the price. This one here is just stunning. You could use this as a highlight. If you had a deeper skin tone, you could use either of these. This kind of reminds me a little bit of the one from Fenty Beauty, which is Trophy Wife. This you could use as a highlighter here if you have a lighter skin tone, and they include a shimmery white. So they include both a good few shades of black in this palette and a white, which I really like because you could take this palette traveling. I would definitely take this traveling with me, and I would just, if I was traveling for a little bit, like honestly fear of leaving my makeup behind, I have like the fear of that, so I would bring this palette because I would create so many beautiful looks out of it. The only thing that you're missing in this palette is a bunch of, actually you're not missing neutrals because you could use a few of these shades here for a transition color. But if you wanted matte, matte transition colors, you could bring a few other palettes. But yeah, so I'm super impressed with these palettes. So far, I would definitely say they look amazing, but let's see how they perform in the eye, because that is the main thing that we need to find out. Do they perform good on the eye? And if they don't, then they won't be worth it. So let's see, is she worth it on this Morphe palette? So excited. So let's go in. We're going to go in with a transition shade. The transition shade we're going to be using is this shade here and a few of these shades. So we're going to be alternating for that. I'm going to be using this kind of mermaid brush that I got from my Primark mermaid brush set. So this brush has not been good for highlighting for me, so I'm going to go in and just coat the brush and just... These are quite powdery, and the only bad thing about this palette is the packaging as well. Like Morphe packaging, it's gonna get dirty so quickly. If you have any Morphe palettes, you know what I mean. They get dirty super quickly. Okay, this is actually a really, really pretty transition shade right here. The only thing is they don't have deeper transition shades. If you have a deeper skin tone, you could probably... you probably struggle to find a good transition shade. I don't know really, but that's the only thing that I find. I'm super, super pale, so this shade works for me, so I'm super happy with that. So I'm really putting this through my crease. Also, this brush from Primark is super, super soft. It's a really nice brush actually. It doesn't work for highlight, but I think it's more intended as a giant eyeshadow brush, to be honest. So these have a slight shimmer. As I said, this is a shimmery palette, so if you're not into shimmers, honestly this palette is not going to be for you at all, because girl, it's a shimmer palette. But they do a matte version, and I think that would work better. So we're just blending this out. This is really, really pretty. So we have a nice wash of colour to get us started, and let's go in. So we have a nice beautiful wash of colour. Let's go in. I'm not really sure what look I'm going to create, but I'm just going to surprise y'all. Just do a random look. So I'm going to go in. I'm really, really feeling these reds, these purples. I'm going to do a purple eye look today because I just really want to do a purple eye look for you guys, because purples are my thing, especially recently. So for this tutorial or kind of look, this palette is really going to work for me. It has several purple shades that I love. I'm grabbing a lot of brushes here. We got blending brushes and flat top brushes. So we are going to go in. with a clean brush. Obviously, we're going to go in with a clean blending brush, and I'm going to go dip into these shades, these two shades here at the bottom, these two purple shades. We're going to start off with the more lavender, the lighter shade. Now this is a shade that when I swatched it, it didn't look as pigmented as I wanted it to be. So let's just see what it looks like on the eye. Okay. Yeah, it's not that pigmented. You're going to need to build this one up. So I'd say that's disappointing, but actually we'll see if we can build it up. Okay, she's building. This is not no hope. This might work. You're going to blend, blend, blend. This is a really pretty shade. You just really need to build it up into your crease. If you guys want to know, I also obviously primed my eye with concealer. I used this concealer, which is new to me. This is the MAC Soft Ochre Pro Longwear Paint Pot, which I got because Nikki Tutorials raved about it, and she's awesome, so I love Nikki. So let's go in with more of this. Then I'm going to take the deeper purple shade, which is this shade right here. Really love this shade. And I'm going to deepen up this look with this. I'm going to go in with a more flat top brush just because it just picks up more product and I really want to intensify the look. Okay, so this purple is definitely my favorite. The deeper purple, as I was saying to you guys, is probably the one I'm going to hit pan on the quickest because I just can't get enough of it. I don't really do purple looks that often, but recently with this palette it allows me to do some really beautiful eye looks using purple tones and grape colors, just anything purple, and just really excited about that. So what's your guys' favorite color to use on your eye? Do you guys like neutrals? Do you guys prefer a nude eye on yourself? For me, it's all about color. I like a nude eye, but color is it for me. These blend so amazing. Honestly, they blend so nicely, so props to Morphe for that. They have fallout, obviously. You guys can see that. That's a bit of fallout right there. So now that we have that in the crease, we have her laid down. We're going to go back in with our blending brush, which just has some of the purple on it from earlier, and just blend out so that we don't have any harsh lines or anything like that. Ah, this is so beautiful already. I'm just loving this. So we're going to go in with a kind of shorter brush, like a stubbier brush. I don't really have the words for it, guys. And we're going to take this shade here, this shade right here, which is the fuchsia pink that we were looking at earlier. Oh, this palette is just my new favorite Morphe palette. I can't really choose. If I had to pick a Brights palette that was my favorite, it would be this one. And my other palette that's my favorite would be the Juvia's Place one I have. So we're just going to lay down this pink. If you want to, you could put some setting spray on your brush. So I'm probably going to do that just because I think it would look better. Because these shades are really shimmery, setting spray just really makes them pop even more. So if you go in wet with these shades, they will look a lot more pigmented. Like, do you guys see the difference in that already when I've just wet the brush with some setting spray, my Makeup Revolution setting spray? Like, it already looks so pigmented. So I'm going to be laying that right in the middle. I know I sounded like Manny when I was like so pigmented. I love Manny. I live for him. So it looks like a giant stripe right now. So we're going to be taking this brush here, which is my 230, and this has a little bit of pink on it. So we're going to just be taking that and blending it so that it's not so much a stripe, but more a wash of color. Perfect. Really liking this look so far. Now I'm going to take a flat top brush here. This actually has a bit of it's just a flat top brush. It has a little bit of yellow on it from when I tried a different yellow from another palette, so I'm sorry. We're going to go into this yellow that's at the bottom, this one right here from the palette. So we're dipping directly into the palette. Sorry if I have this on my lap, guys. It's just like it's more difficult to hold the Morphe palettes because they're bigger on your, like, you have to kind of hold them on your lap. So we're putting this right here. This is going to make the look pop and give it a really nice vibe. This reminds me of like Brazil. It reminds me of like parrots and really bright colors and festivals, and or like spices in India maybe. I want to see so much more of the world and just like live. I really like this color. These shades are like just complementing each other perfectly. So next we're going to take a little brush. Let me look for my tiny brushes. This is a pretty small brush here. So you're going to take a smaller brush. I'm going to just douse this with setting spray. These colors are so pigmented, and they are pigmented enough to use on their own, but honestly I just want some setting spray to like make it pop more. So we're going to go into these two shades at the bottom, which are the shades I said that if you have a fair skin tone you could use these as highlight because they're just so beautifully pigmented. I use a lot of times when people compliment my highlight on Instagram, basically it's from the Morphe palettes because their shadows work so good as a highlight sometimes. So this highlight is not popping enough for me, so I'm going to take some more. You'll know we extra. Oh, this is so pretty. I'm going to take my brush right here, the brush that we were using at the start, to just blend a little bit. But I really want these colors to kind of fade into each other seamlessly as we can do it. Oh, I'm just really loving this look. So now we're going to take a little brush right here, and I'm going to go into the orange shade in the palette, this shade here, and put this on the lower lash line. Just lay it down a bit. Oh, this is so pretty. I'm going to go in with a little bit of the red as well, just because it's more pigmented. This look though is taking me on a journey. So now we're going to go in with my Lash Sensational Intense Black Mascara by Maybelline New York. I love this mascara. So like Soph Does Nails is one of my favorite YouTubers, and she recommended some of the Maybelline mascaras before, so I was like, I need to try them because her lashes are always beautiful and long and they look so perfect. So we just added a bit more because I already had this on. This can get quite clumpy, but it makes my lashes look so long, and you can declump it with like a piece of paper or a Q-tip. So this is the finished look, you guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video testing out this Morphe palette. This is the Morphe 35U palette. Is she worth it? Yes, for me personally, she is worth it. You could dupe a lot of these colors in the drugstore if you don't want to pay, like this is kind of like, it's €27 if you don't want to pay that much for this palette, and you could dupe it. But honestly, I think this palette in itself is worth the buy because it's going to last you ages. Even if you saved up your pocket money or got it for Christmas, then I would definitely say this is worth it. Or really any Morphe palette that you like. I love my Morphe palettes. This is not sponsored, of course, and I don't have discount codes, of course. So personally, me, I just love the Morphe palettes that I have, and this palette is going to be one of my favorite palettes for sure. And I will be like, I would go so far as to say I would repurchase this if I hit pan on all of them. That's how much I love this palette. I will be linking everything down in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Is she worth it? Is she Erin approved? This Morphe 35U palette is Erin approved. Really impressed with this palette. The only downsides were some of the more matte shades that were not as pigmented, but I'm really impressed with this palette, and I would definitely recommend that you guys get it if you want if you guys like a shimmery bright colored palette, then I would recommend that you get it. Also, Beauty Bay has free delivery, and the shipping is so quick, and they ship a lot of places in Europe. I think everywhere in Europe they ship to. Well, yeah, almost everywhere in Europe. So that's super essential when you are living in Europe and you are not part of like the UK or America. So sometimes it can be harder for people that live in Europe to find makeup. But yeah, so I love you guys, and I hope you guys watch my next video, and I can't wait to see you guys.